What's going on YouTube? Ryan and Alex from back Dopamon again. Welcome to part 2 of the Ultimate 2021 NHL Mock Draft. If you haven't seen our picks for the top 10, you can click on the card in the top right hand corner of your screen or in the URL in the description box down below. Today we will be going through our number 11 through 21 picks in the upcoming entry draft happening on July 23rd and 24th. Like we said in the last video, this year we'll be recording this in 3 separate parts, little series, so look out for part 3 coming soon to the channel. Also, reminder again, we said this in the last video, but we will be streaming on July 23rd and 24th to have discussions and watch party, and it'll be chill and react to all the picks live with you. So be sure to join us here,
How
right?
wrong we are.
Yeah, join us right here on the Dopamon channel for that. Um, Without further ado, Alex, you lead us off for number 11, or really I should say 12,
He
because the
forfeited
Arizona.
11th pick. Yeah, that was pretty embarrassing. They should have just watched some of our videos instead of cheating.
Yeah,
That's hockey isn't about cheating; it's about honesty, and we make some honest content here, and we'd like a like and subscribe. And with number 12, because Arizona can't pick, I have the Chicago Blackhawks taking Jesper Wallstedt.
wow,
Yeah, I know, I
interesting.
know, I know, I know. The era of Crawford Silver, they have, they need to kind of revamp the franchise, and I think they need to do it sooner rather than later. They got Taves, they got Kane still on the roster. They don't want to go through a rebuild, and a guy like him, who's, a bona fide starter for, potentially the next 15, 20 something, I don't know, years for Leno. He could have a great long career. A guy like Wallstedt, that's for fans for the franchise, he could be a big goaltender, and I think that's really what they need. I think then it's just a feeling I got, and I'm gonna stick with it.
Yeah, that was great. I had Wallstedt going way earlier, and I had him in my
Yeah, way
top
early.
10. So if you want to see
Mhm.
where I had him, you can click on the other video. For me, I have Chicago Blackhawks taking Fabian Lysell. So a little bit of hockey politics kind of affected this kid this year without getting too much into it. Basically, he started the year with Frölunda, their U20 team, and then those close to him or his family, I guess, decided it was best to play in the SHL, for the pros. So they made it happen. He played in Luleå for 26 games. But he didn't play a lot. The coach kind of put him on the fourth line. He played less than 10 minutes a game. He didn't get a fair shake in that league. So it might have hurt his stock and his development a little bit. But otherwise, he's an incredible skater. Fast, skates with good pace. Very good off puck pressure on his opponents. Great shooter right now. When you look up, I have written down, when you look up waterbug in the hockey dictionary, you get a picture of Fabian Lysell. So he's all over the ice. He has an incredibly high ceiling, kind of an unclear floor. At worst, he could be a bottom six forward who plays, with good pace and playmaking ability. And at best, he could be a top line winger, offensive playmaker with incredible drive and pace of play. And I really like his game. Um, I don't know about you, Alex, but I'm a huge fan of Fabian Lysell. I have him ranked way higher than this, but
Likewise, I have him. Obviously, I haven't picked him yet, but I do have him ranked much higher than I do have him, picked in the mock draft here as well. I do like him. I love his game. I love his speed, the pace at which he plays the game. He can dictate a lot of scoring opportunities right in front of the net. He can create opportunities from like the neutral zone. He's just all over. Uses a lot of speed, uses a lot of talent, and any team that picks him up will love that because who can't use speed and talent today?
yeah, right.
Hmm.
All right, my next pick, Calgary Flames. I have the Calgary Flames picking Cole Sillinger.
Ooh, nice.
Cole Sillinger, you had him in your top 10,
Yep.
but I'll say everything you said about him. NHL caliber shot. Uh, Probably the best pure shooter in the draft for me, but less than NHL caliber passing abilities. He seems to, for me, seems to be a very good trigger man. Really good at going into the dirty areas, forced in the center of the ice. No one's gonna confuse him with prime Rick Nash power forward, but uh, That's a very strong part of his game as well. D zone awareness, not great. He can get caught standing still a little bit from what I saw. But if he gets his motor going and really is involved in all areas of play, he could be an A+ level trigger man on the wing in the NHL. An extremely dangerous shot. Yeah, so I think projects to be a little bit more of a winger than a center. I think he's a center right now, but
Hmm.
yeah, could be pretty dangerous for Calgary, who is maybe trading Gaudreau on that wing. Who knows? I don't know what's happening in Calgary.
Yeah. And maybe they are trading, maybe they're not. Uh, I have them picking, onto me, Calgary, picking Fabian Lysell. I really like him as well. I don't, it's tough taking him at 13. You have him at 12. I think that there's a lot of question marks like every year around Kachuk, Goudreau, Monahan, and whether they trade them or keep them. I think a guy like Lysell would answer, all the questions. Like he'd, like bring scoring to those lines, or if, they trade him, he'd, be like the retool for the future. I really like Lysell. I think he's got a lot going for him, and can't see him dropping past 13.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, the Philadelphia Flyers at 14.
Philadelphia Flyers. Let me open my thingy. Click. Oh yeah, I have Philadelphia. Let him find him on the. Did I already pass him? He's ranked really low here on Cap Friendly, but
Oh,
he's ranked by a lot of scouts. I have with number 14 Philadelphia picking Fyodor Svechkov.
Fedor Svechkov, really?
Fyodor Svechkov. Yeah, I personally think he should go a little bit lower. I think he gets a little bit overrated for some parts of his game. Um, no discredit to him. I do really like him. If go check out the scouting report I've done on him. We'll pop up
Yeah, we'll
square
link it somewhere
somewhere.
here.
Yeah, we'll pop up over there. Go check the video out. We talk about what Elite Prospects has to say. How I slightly agree and slightly disagree. Though I think that Philly's going to take him because with Giroux coming out, there's some questions about rumors about him even being traded. How long is his career going to be? I think Svechkov's a guy who can kind of sooner rather than later kind of slide into like the NHL level and a middle six center, maybe a second line center kind of role. And behind Sean Couturier, I think that's something that the Philly as an organization could really like enjoy. I think he's a guy that's like has like a really high floor, even if his ceiling isn't quite that high. And for Philly, that to secure a guy who can definitely provide a solid center depth for them, I think that could be good for them.
Yeah, it's I've seen I showed you a couple rankings of Svechkov going as high as in the top 10 at number 6. I've seen the different opinions on him right now, but 14 is pretty safe for a mock draft, I
Hmm.
think.
Hmm.
I have a guy. This is my first. I think I'm reaching a little bit here. I think Philadelphia is going to do something a little different. Curious where you have this guy ranked, but I have. Oh no, and I have to find him on Cap Friendly.
Yeah,
Um,
I know.
I have the Philadelphia Flyers selecting Matthew Coronado.
Hmm.
Um, Matthew Coronado plays for the Chicago Steel in USHL. Uh, they were a highly offensive team. I think the top 4 or 5 scorers in the league were all from that team. Um, and could that combined with a high shooting percentage from Coronado result in a bit of an inflation in his offensive numbers? Because you look at his numbers, they're insane. Um,
Yeah, yeah, they're way high.
they're way high. I don't think it's he's on that level. He's going to be like a point per game superstar in the NHL. It's not that, but he's highly resistant, hard-working forward with an above-average shot in good hands, and he's very good without the puck, creating space for himself, both on defense and offense, trying to get open for the for passing lane for on the cycle. He's very good at managing his space without the puck. And I just have a feeling. It's a feeling in a mock draft. I think Matthew Coronado's going to the Flyers. And
I like
else,
Coronado too. Yeah, so I like that pick. I like that pick. I really
like that
do.
pick.
Yeah,
Well, 15,
15.
the Dallas Stars. I have
Mm-hmm.
the Stars selecting the kid with the best name in the draft, Chaz Lucius.
Jazz Lucia.
100% the best name in the draft. Committed to the University of Minnesota next year, so he's not going to be to the NHL ready for a few years. Possesses great offensive instincts, knows how to get to the middle of the ice. A good skater, but doesn't have a powerful stride or like blazing speed to outright beat defensemen. His stride is a bit choppy. That's why he doesn't really have that top level speed that some centers, you need to be an elite center in the NHL, especially now. But very dangerous shot. Knows how to get into the shooting area, and isn't a slouch on D either, from what I've seen. Knows how to get back into play as a forward, but can sometimes fly the zone too early. He's always looking for offense, so he can fly the zone early a little bit. But his best traits are his offensive awareness, ability to make plays, and a very, very good snapshot. And I think Dallas is going to need some guys down the middle. So some offensive centers, and Chaz Lucis fits that bill.
Now I'm going to completely agree with you.
Nice.
Yeah, that's,
Makes this easy.
yeah, Jazz Lucas. I love his name, love his game. Want him as a star. So number 15, I got Chaz Lucius.
Nice.
It's not much else that I can say. I completely agree. Um, yeah, it's a tough one though. I had 15 and 16. I'm glad I'm doing the back and forth because between the two is kind of tough for me to pick.
Me too. I flipped the two guys here too, so I'm curious. You're
Yeah,
next
and
for 16, so you can give me that. I'm curious if we have the same guy.
and Atu Ratu. Am I
Ratu.
pronouncing it Ratu?
Ratu. Ratu.
Ratu. Ratu. That's who I have at 16.
So do I.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Yes way.
Oh.
We both have 15, 16. We both see the need for centers, I guess, but I'll let you go
And
on about
both
Ratu.
teams. Yeah, that's actually the note. I had the exact same note about for both teams that both need center depth. You look at a team like Dallas last year against Tampa that, they didn't have any center depth after Tyler Sagan. There's just a
Yeah.
big hole. And same for New York Rangers. After Mika Zibanejad, it kind of falls off. They don't have as much down there. And I think for both organizations, they both need a center. And these are two centers that I think can really like turn a team around. They're ranked a lot higher and lower by some, scouts. And like I think that there's like hidden, for both of them, hidden like potential in there that could really benefit both teams if they get the full potential out of them.
Yeah, and obviously we're forgetting a little bit about Rupe Hintz in Dallas, who I think is a very underrated player. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, Atu Ratu to the Rangers. I like specifically because obviously the elephant in the room with Ratu is that he was once seen as like the number one pick in this
First over,
draft.
yeah, yeah, the first overall, of course.
He was considered the top guy in his age group, and because he's kind of dropped off, it's made him a huge enigma kind of in this draft. It's probably the biggest one. But his skating, puck handling, awareness, it's all legitimately there. The skills, the toolbox is there. At the end of the day, he's a very strong two-way player. I think he has a good defensive game too, who
Yeah, that
plays very well, and he has all the tools to be a very good NHL player. But there's a risk, obviously, because it's dropped down. He dropped down people's rankings, and he hasn't had good seasons. He just hasn't put it together. But I have New York picking him specifically because of their wealth of really elite talent from past drafts, kind of building up. And that could enable them to take a gamble on a guy like Ratu to really put them over the edge up center ice, especially needing centermen. It's just a perfect storm for the Rangers to take Ratu here.
yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's they could really like, develop into like the perfect center to tie, their team together, their forward group. Mm.
Is that me for 17?
Yeah, that's you for 17.
All right, I have the St. Louis Blues selecting a guy. Might be a little high for this area, but I like him.
Me too.
And I'm gonna mispronounce his name. Isaac Rosen. Rosin.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, incredible, creative winger. Great skating ability. Needs to work on his strength with the puck. He's doesn't have like every time he gets into the boards or in the corner, he gets knocked off the puck. But he's young. He's a little smaller. He needs to gain that strength in his legs and his hands, and you know, just age, just play hockey and age and get better. Great defensive instincts, like all the things that I like in a forward and a winger are there. A creative offensive winger are there. He just needs to play and develop a little bit, and I think St. Louis is the perfect team to help him do that.
I like him too. I don't have him as highly ranked, but good pick.
Hmm?
We're getting into the era, the part of the draft where it starts to get a little bit fuzzy is, on the rankings a little.
Yeah, we're definitely going
And
to
I think,
start
yeah,
diverging in the way we pick people, and there's going to be a
yeah,
whole lot of gap. I was surprised we had 15, 16, to be completely honest.
yeah. That was a surprise because it's not gonna stay like that from here on out. For 17 for me, I have St. Louis picking Nikita Chibrikov. I love Chibrikov. I think he's the best forward coming out of the Russian system this year. Go check out the video we have on him.
Hmm.
I post
Yep,
it up in a
I'll link all
square
the
somewhere
videos
over
for
here.
you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Make it easy.
And he's an amazing winger. I think he's underrated at times, and some people say he's overrated, but I think those are like the accurate scouting reports. There's not a lot of flaws in his game. He's tight defensively, he's tight offensively. He's still got like maybe a bit of a mental game to work through, but that's like that level of professionalism will come as he becomes an adult. He is still a child.
Yeah.
Remember that. Comes to the NHL level, NHL teams, good conditioning, attitude, like it's going to come. And when his skills get more refined, I think a team like St. Louis that's about to lose a guy like Vladimir Tarasenko, I think it's pretty confirmed that he's leaving,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
When they come out of their retool, they're going to have another disciplined Russian winger scoring goals on their top six. And I think that, like, or as a fan of a franchise who's going through a rebuild, having someone in your system who can score goals and just provide and generate so much offense in the way that he does is a huge benefit, and that's why I think they're going to take him.
Nice. Okay, now for Winnipeg. I think I
Oh,
just said
yeah,
it's your pick. I'll let you go.
yeah,
But
okay, yeah.
I just said that we're gonna start to have some diverging picks. But I think we're gonna have the
Mhm.
same guy here. I'm curious.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's not possible.
Oh, it's not. Okay. So you're
Yeah,
taking someone I've
let
already
me
picked.
try
Okay.
and
Well, this is cool.
find him. I am terrible at finding people. Sorry about that. At number 18, I have the Winnipeg Jets selecting Matthew Coronado,
Oh.
which is why I, we can't have the same pick for this one because it's not possible. You already have him picked. I think that with Blake Wheeler's career kind of coming to an end, they've got, Winnipeg's a team that's got solid centers. Got Scheifele, they got Dubois, who I think that they see a lot of promise in, even if he didn't have that great of a season. A guy like Coronado can add another winger to to Ehlers and Kyle Connor,
Kyle Connor. Yeah.
and then have Coronado another scoring guy like Blake Wheeler, who does provide an insane amount of offense. I think that when you're picking at the late teens here, like Winnipeg is, uh, Coronado's a guy who's got tons of skill. Obviously, you have him rated higher, and I think that he's a guy that could look like a really attractive pick for Winnipeg. It'd be hard to pass up on him.
Hmm. Well, for me, I looked at Winnipeg
Hmm.
and I'm like, this team needs a defenseman. I think every Winnipeg fan will tell you
Oh, okay.
defensemen are needed. So I have them picking Carson Lambos
Hmm.
with their pick number 18. Um, I know you have him ranked very highly. I don't have
Very
him as
high.
much. This is kind of the middle ground, I guess, in between the two of our rankings. Um, I think he's a good skater. He's a slightly flawed technique, but he tends to skate very upright, which kind of limits some of his explosiveness that he could have. That good mobile defenseman, needs to succeed in the NHL. But even with that issue, he's a decent skater, so I think that can be fixed. The slight flaws in skating mechanics can be coached out. Some saw some really smart shooting decisions, but he doesn't have a cannon back there. So for an offensive-minded defenseman, it's he's kind of, I don't know. You had him rated a lot higher. I didn't see the same things that you saw, but
Hmm.
I think for Winnipeg, they need a defenseman and a guy that's a kind of more of a boom bust kind of pick for me. Carson Lambos fits that bill.
Yeah, I love Carson Lambos. I have him probably it was tough to put him 1-2 with Owen Power when I rank defensemen. I think I you noted him, mentioned him being an offensive defenseman. I think what really stands out for me in his game is the way that he like reads the play and reads the play like ahead of time. He knows when his own, his defensive partner is out of position and it's like, oh no, the forward he's supposed to be covering, is cheating. I need to be skating back because in 2 seconds that defenseman is gonna, make that big pass and he's going to get a breakaway. He's very aware of everybody on the ice and he just denies opportunities that way. And I think that calling him being in like the way that he's seen as an offensive defenseman and people being like, oh, I don't see too many offensive skills here, is
He's a
that like
two-way
that
guy.
makes him, yeah, it gets him like overrated because of that. And I think that yeah, I would agree he doesn't have the most skills offensively. I like him. I like that he has a nice fake shot and fake slap pass. Likes to do like the pass rather than a shot. And I think he can. He kind of like sees and opens up those lanes well in the offensive zone, like on the cycle. And I see him more as a passer than a shooter. Like he'll definitely need to become a shooter. To be an NHL kind of like top defenseman, but other than that, like I think he does have potential to get there and he really impressed me. I love him. He would be I would, if I had a higher pick in this draft, I would drop down just to pick him.
Hmm.
And I do have him coming up soon.
Very good.
Hmm.
Is that me for 19?
Yep, let's see for 19.
All right. This is a guy I really like. Really, really like him. Um, doesn't have the kind of pedigree for like a top 15, I don't think, but he could go for depending on the GM. I have the Nashville Predators picking Simon Robertson.
Hmm.
Simon Robertson is the kind of perfect jack of all trades winger with an NHL caliber shot. Like he has a really good shot and he does everything well. Very safe pick, high floor, low ceiling kind of deal, um, or lower ceiling kind of thing. Strong defensive game, good habits, work rate, instincts. One of the better defensive wingers I've seen um, in this draft, and yeah, I really like this guy. I would probably pick him a little higher, but I think in the 19, late teens, early 20s is where he'll go.
Hmm. I like him too. I have him just a little bit lower in the draft, but I really like him too. So
Mm-hmm.
can't wait. Uh, me 19.
Yes, sir.
I have Carson Lambos.
No, yeah, perfect.
So, yeah, right after. So if you want to hear about him, you can go back, minute, 2 minutes, and hear me talk him up. I love this game. I see Nashville as a team that gets the most out of their defensemen and then trades them off. But mostly, the getting the most out of the defenseman part. And I think that the parts of Lambos' game that are missing, Nashville can turn on. And drafting a guy like Lambos can, open up the opportunity for Nashville to trade Ekholm, for
Mm-hmm.
instance, and, kind of accept the retool. I know they had a really good season, but, I think that as an organization, they're just going to accept that they're going to be more of a losing team than a winning team. Like, I don't know how competitive they really see themselves being right now. So I think Carson Lambos is a guy that, they can really look forward to for the future.
Very good. Okay, you
Yeah,
for Edmonton at 20.
yeah. You're not gonna like this.
I know I'm not.
You're gonna hate this. And I know people think that it could be Sebastian Casa because Edmonton does need a goaltender. But I think we talked about it in our last video. I think that there's going to be a bit of a goalie carousel. I think that, goalies are going to be exchanged, moved around a little bit. So I think that maybe just a little bit, some teams are going to be willing to not draft a goalie in this year, just this high, and maybe just take a forward and be like, I'll draft a different goalie, in the fourth round or fifth round or something. So I don't think Edmonton's going to take a goaltender. I think they're going to take uh, offensive right shot D, Corson Ceulemans.
Oh.
Yeah, Corson Ceulemans. And I know you don't like him.
Yeah, for anyone watching, Alex and I have gone back and forth for days about Corson
Yeah.
Ceulemans. I'm not a big fan of his. Well, he's good. Like I'd pick him in the first few rounds, but
Yeah, it's not bad, of
he's
course.
not bad. But we've had our back and forths on this guy. That's why he prefaced that I wouldn't like this.
hmm And for Edmonton, like why I think they'd pick him, uh, I'll go into why I like him a bit after. Tyson Barrie showed you do not have to be the best defenseman in the world to score a lot of points with Connor McDavid.
Yeah,
And a draft pick that they're taking now will play with Connor McDavid. And I think Corson Ceulemans has a north-south transition game. He moves the puck so well that that with Connor McDavid, who also does that so well, would just be such a lethal offensive combo that they're willing to maybe go down. I do have Ceulemans ranked a little bit lower, but I think that they'd be willing to go down the draft a little bit to pick somebody who could fit their future offense so well. And I, on top of that, I'm going to talk about Ceulemans. He does make poor decisions sometimes defensively. He'll leave, he's basically like a fourth forward out there. He
hmm
leaves his defensive partner unavailable, out alone, 2-on-1, 3-on-1, odd man rushes all the time. But when he is trying, when he is, the consistent part of the where he lacks the consistency, like when he is on his game, he's trying, he has the toolkit, he has all the skills to be a really good defenseman, and I think a team that can get that out of him can uh, pull off a second pairing kind of D from him, have a great offensive force. And for a team like Edmonton that struggled with D for a long time, I think he could be a unique addition.
yeah. I think selecting a D for Edmonton is smart. They obviously have their
hmm
forward depth, but
hmm
you mentioned right off the top that people have Sebastian Casa here. So do I.
hmm
Sebastian Casa, I think, is a no-brainer for Edmonton. Um, he's the second best goalie in the draft. Uh, plays in Edmonton in the WHL, and the Oilers need a goalie prospect. Smith and Koskinen are not the future in Edmonton, and I don't think Stuart Skinner is either. As much as I like that, Stuart Skinner, I don't think he has the same potential as Casa does. His numbers in WHL are insane, but it's definitely like inflated a little bit because the WHL is a little bit of a weaker league for Canadian
17
juniors.
1-on-1? Was it like 17 1-on-1? Is
Yeah,
that
it
what the
is
record was?
17-1-1
Yeah,
with like a 940. It was insane.
Jakes.
But I think this is a no-brainer for me. Let us know what you think.
Yeah,
My
that's yeah.
last pick in this part two, and I need to find. Oh, he's right there. Boston Bruins. Boston Bruins play a specific style of game, and I think this player fits right into that mold. Now, it might be a little bit of a controversial pick at 21, but I really like this guy, and I think he can reel it in. and there's a second name in this part that I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation of. Zachary Leroux. Zach Leroux at 11. He's got an, just an NHL ready mean streak, power forward style, with some complementary skill, quick release, and offensive zone awareness. He can step over the line. Obviously, he's been suspended 4 times this year, including once for spitting on an opponent. So like, he needs to reel it in, and I think he will. Another knock on him is he's a little bit of a below average skater. He's very wide stride, very stocky, but he still skates well. I don't see him as much of a center. I see him as a winger. Um, and you he just feels like a Boston Bruin, right? Think Marchand 2.0, but with less offensive upside, right? Um, Maybe like a Brendan Lemieux kind of thing. Um, it just feels like a Boston Bruin. That's why I have him here.
All right. I like that pick. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
As you said, Boston has like a type of player.
Yeah, they have a type of
Boston
player they like to draft.
also, yeah. They also have like a terrible draft record.
They do.
Yeah. So I have them taking I might be missed Brennan Offman. Othman? Offman?
Othman.
Offman. I don't know.
Close.
Brennan Offman. I don't know. I have a weird feeling that I just have a weird feeling about this one. It's been some picks he kind of put up there like really early, and you're like, oh, they're just gonna take that. And I had that about him. I think he plays a type of like game that'll really work for Boston's middle six. The kind of grinding role that Boston had. Like I think he really like benefit just that
Yeah,
that middle six, and
Boston's
that's the kind of guys that,
always needed
you know
forward depth, so he could be a good
yeah,
guy
right. For
to
the same
provide that.
reason, yeah, the same reason you have them taking, a forward here that'll provide an interesting kind of depth. I have them taking Offman here as well.
Hmm.
That's
Very good.
yeah.
That concludes part
Hmm.
2 of our mock draft. We'll be doing the picks 22 through 32, probably plus a couple honorable mentions at the end for guys we could see going first round, but that'll have to wait till part 3. So come back, subscribe to the channel, have your notifications on, like this video, and yeah, we'll see you hopefully in part 3. Thanks so much for watching. Is there anything you'd like to say at the end here?
No, man, just hit that subscribe button. It can really help us out.
Yeah, we'd really appreciate that. And yeah, thanks so much. Goodbye.